Oh, yes. Testing. 1, 2, testing. Good evening, good evening to those who are now joining here on the GMS Live, Radio Guyana, online Radio Guyana, and the Dr. Matthews-Bey Show, Voice of the Nation, here on Facebook, live streaming, Facebook and YouTube. A pleasant good evening to you all. Uh, share the live, share the live, share the live, share the live. As you now get in, share the live. Share the live as you know. Get in, share the live, share the live. A pleasant good evening to you all. Share the live. Good evening to you all. Share the live. Share the live. Thank you very much for joining. Share the live. Let's get on the conversation tonight. Share the live. Share the live, people. Share the live. Share the live. Share the live. Good evening to you. Share the live. Share the live. To all those who are now joining, share the live. Share the live, everyone. Share the live. Good evening to you. Good evening to all those who are now joining. Good evening. Good night. Share the live as you know. Come in, share the live. Thank you very much. Now, this is Dr. Matthews-Bey thanking you. Islam to you, my brothers and sisters, my Moorish brothers and sisters, to all you Moors. Islam to you, and a very pleasant good night to you, my Aboriginal brothers and sisters from the Corporation of Guyana. A pleasant good night to you all. This is Dr. Matthews-Bey, thanking you for joining as you join Share the Live. Now, I must make this absolutely clear that the certification of the doctorate in which I have is being self-educated. I have never uplifted certifications globally. So I don't have to fake it. I'm the original. So I'm letting you know that my doctorate cometh hereby from me. I have certified myself in being able to address and also to represent a people that is not only educated according to the animal syndromes, but who's also being oppressed and enslaved by racism and by a democratic policy that intends to oppress a people. That's all I do. Okay? So pleasant good night to you. And as you come in, please share the live. As I'm about to start, I'm going to be able to help you to comprehend exactly where I'm going. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the treaty to you and all of you who are joining to comprehend in which I am discussing all these matters this evening. In 1777, no, sorry, in 1778, with the Empire of Morocco, who were run by the Moors, had a strategic economic plan. And that strategic economic plan came via way of treaty because they realized that their territorial wars and people who are now coming are fighting them for their land. So they said to them, look, we are going to form a treaty. And in that treaty, we are going to have an semblance of part of that government that you would have actually been on the treaty with. And the government that was formed in those days was be able to comprehend that they are the rightful heirs of the land. And they must say who must go where to invest on these lands. That was the rights of the people that are called Moors. And the land in which they live on is Morocco. And if you check the name of Moors, the meaning of Moors is also mean land. So we are the true inheritors, heirs of these lands. Now we develop a strategic economic plan via way of treaty. And in that treaty, strategic economics must be in the hands of the Aboriginal people and not corporations. Corporations is who take part of that strategic plan. If you comprehend me, to all those who are now joining, share the live. Corporations are the ones who came on board to embrace such a strategic plan via the way of a treaty of peace and friendship in 1778. Now, as I'm saying to you here tonight, the strategic economic plans was really to be in the hands of the Aboriginal people who are Moors and not the corporations. We must remain, as I'm saying again, we must remain the possessors of our lands. That's part of the treaty. We must remain possessors of our land. We are heirs to the land. I want y'all to know this. Out of everything that you see going on worldwide, without land, there's no economic plan. Because with land becomes resources. So I'm going to divulge into that some more. So we must remain possessors of this land in order to gain from the land. So I'm gaining, you're gaining from my strategic plan, which is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Good. And I'm saying that the truth must be told in a very frank manner. The truth must be told in a very frank manner because when did the Europeans start coming? When did they start? As a matter of fact, we say Europeans, but the Europeans were East Asians. And if we check some Moors, we understand that European means Moors because we were the first Europeans. What started happening, there were wars, they were what you call civil unrest, and they start pushing us back into the Americas as we start kingdom started to rise, where we started to obtain other lands elsewhere that we were heirs of, inheritors of. Now, in 1652, when the Caucasian race developed an apartheid economy throughout the world, I'm going to state this clearly. In 1652, the Caucasian race, and when I'm saying Caucasian race, it means race, right? The Caucasian race developed an apartheid economic plan, so the formation of the treaty was for to reclaim. Sorry, my apologies. They developed an apartheid economic plan. That's what they did. So when we would have developed and designed the treaty was for to reclaim our lands, and and it must be stated that economy means land. Because what happened after they started controlling certain parts of these lands, we realized that they were changing it based upon an apartheid theory, which is race. You call it you can call it capitalism, you can call it socialism, you can call it democracy, you can call it colonizing. The mere fact is that it's about the divide and rule syndrome. That's an apartheid economic plan. And if you check it, that's how they do it all over the world to a day like today. They come into your country. As a matter of fact, not your country, they come into the lands of the Aboriginal through the corporate system. See the amount of gains they can get from it and use the corporate system to bully you, to take it away from you. So that's why we developed that treaty. We developed the treaty to reclaim our land. And we're saying to you why we wanted to reclaim our land, because economy means land. Economy means resources. Economy is an edification, and economy is the truth. And this is the only way we can survive. The economy means land. Now, if you were invited via treaty to come onto these lands and try to develop these lands so you and I can benefit from it, but you got to pay me royalties, and suddenly you want to take it away from me by having me abandon these lands because of the education process that you take us through, and not edification, and not edification. And when someone like me comes along and try to edify the nation, it becomes a problem. It becomes a big problem. It becomes a hell of a problem. And that's what's keep happening. So what happened after such things would have arisen through the treaty? Then we find that there was an Aboriginal genocide. And that Aboriginal genocide started in in the education of the people, trying to educate them to your segregational policies, the the changing of the diet of the people by implementing processed foods and all these curriculums, the education of a people by started giving them scientific medication when it can be found in the herbs of the field, and that in itself suffice for the genocide of the deploration of a people and reducing their sizes by having them die out as early as possible. But what is happening with them, they cannot control the gland of the Aboriginal person, which is controlled by the pineal gland. They can't control that. So what happens? Well, every time they give us these poisonous substances, our bodies keep fighting back with the antibodies. So they're trying a new way now to reject the antibodies by having you getting these vaccinations pertaining to covert and COVID-19 and all these kind of things. Monkeypox, all these nonsense that's coming up. I mean, these are created by them. They want to change and to degrade your DNA. That is an Aboriginal genocide. First, they used to kill us out by the barrel of a gun, and that used to be quick. They tried the nuclear bomb and they realized the nuclear bomb didn't only affect the people that they wanted to kill, but it affected them also too. So when you see they rise up talking nuclear armament and who want to loose a nuclear bomb, it's a lot of call you bluff and call me bluff that is going on. Nobody wants to do that. The catastrophe of an atom, nuclear, or what's the other one? Hydrogen bomb is so great that they don't want to do that anymore. All nuclear tests stopped around 1960 because they realized every time the test, it's depleting the Earth's atmosphere. This is the reason why the destruction of the ozone layer by all those different nuclear tests. So, in order to proceed in this, they must operate under an Aboriginal genocide, and those who remain subject to the corporation. Those who remain subject to the corporation, your edification process is being depleted constantly, over and over and over again. Your edification process has been depleted constantly. Can I help it? That's the fact. That is what is happening. And when are we going to open our eyes and realize this is what is happening? Some of us can't tell the situation, but it leaves up to me to inform you. So whilst I'm informing you, I'm also treating myself to the same treaty. So I can be able to comprehend what is it and why is it what we must prevail under these circumstances. We need to understand that. You see what's going on behind me here? You see that? That's the Moroccan flag behind me here. And we must be able to identify these things because that's the oldest flag on earth. It's the first nation that created a flagship. As a matter of fact, as not only a flag, a designer assigned to represent themselves as Moors. Good. So now as I'm saying, as I'm frankly saying, we want our land back. That was that was stolen from us. We want our land back. That was stolen from us. We have the right to reclaim these land. Not capitalism. We don't want capitalism. We don't want your fiat currency and all these nonsense that's taking place. We don't want that. You can keep that. Take your capitalism. take your democracy, take your fiat currency, and go stay in some mountain area, which we might be able to align you to some sort of good living. But we don't want what you have to offer us. Everything the capitalist corporate system that is based upon a democracy has to offer us as an Aboriginal person is to steal our lands from us in that process. In that process, you could imagine. Look at the capitalist system. The US came here with nothing, bring the ships, started looking for the oil, charge us a fee. Never spend a dime cent. They brought nothing and they're taking everything. So you could imagine what's going on in the corporation of Guyana. You could imagine what's going on in the corporation of Guyana. It's high class corruption. So we don't want the capitalist system. At least I don't want it. I'm being straight. Keep your capitalist system. It can work for you, but it can't work for me. It cannot. We must be in charge. We must be in charge. We want to be the genuine. We want genuine control and leadership. We must be in charge of our lands. We must be in charge of our ancestral lands. We must be in charge of the lands that we are heirs to, and they cannot take it from us. That is why every land that they seems to perceive or to have or to control, it's through a system that they call lease and transport it. They cannot take those things from us. It doesn't matter how much money you spend for the piece of land, it belongs to us, the Aboriginal, indigenous people who are Moors. So I want to send this message out to Air Fraud because he needs to comprehend that. And when I say Air Fraud, I mean the CEO of the Corporation of Guyana, or you want to call it the Corporate Republic of Guyana. It's still a corporation. It's still a domicile entity. You comprehend? So I'm speaking to that corporation. The CEO that runs that corporation calls himself the straw man, Air Fraud Ali, and all of them that surrounds him. We want our land back. We don't care if it's you or the British got to give it up, but we got to get it back. You singing a tune, not one blade of grass, not one caress to Venezuela. Ah, Venezuela, you the same thing, all the other corporations. The indigenous people, Aboriginal indigenous people, who are the rightful heirs of the land, we want our land back. We ain't got time with you and your blade of grass. You comprehend what I'm saying now? And we want to make sure that we have genuine control and leadership on the economic activities on these lands. We are divided because of ownership. That's the next issue. We divided because of ownership. We got some people like me who are Aboriginal, indigenous persons who refuse to be divided, and they got those who wants to accept to be called black and wants to accept to be in a system that makes them much more divided. Because at least I don't want to go over there to be part of the corporate system that takes away my land. You can stay over there, but we are divided. We need to comprehend and start educating ourselves, not educating, educating or edifying ourselves. Excuse me. We must be able to do that, to inform each other, to let each other know the truth. You understand? And that's to say that we are still subject of economic apartheid. Because look who enjoying all the economic benefits. The ones who are not heirs of this land, they're enjoying all the economic benefits. And those who are heirs of this land are not enjoying economic benefit, but we enjoy economic apartheid system where we feel it's good, it's bread, butter, and honey and milk. No, it's not. Not because you're getting a few dollars, a few fiat currency that tells you that you're enjoying life, that you have a car and a house, and that's the best thing going for you. No. You can have car, house, millions of dollars, but lack the knowledge thereof of ancestorship. You're a waste of time. You're a song them brass and a tingling symbol. You cannot be wealthy because wealthy is knowledge, and knowledge is power. The other races take part of that, and they not only take part, but they make it an economic basis in which they live on by charging us, who the true heirs of the land, for not knowing well. You can imagine we being charged for not knowing well, for not having the knowledge of. And instead, we sit down and teach each other. We want to talk about some singer coming to the country who's smoking the most weed, who popping the most pill, who got the most girls. That's what we want to talk about. And when we finish, we go in and sing on the radio station for two pieces of chicken, a fry, and a drink, a 20-ounce drink, which destroys our immune system. Because the fries that has been fried in deep oil and the chicken that's been fried in deep oil, guess what kind of oil has been fried in? It is mixed with crude oil. So we're eating all these things that are killing us. Because no fast food restaurant can cook with vegetable oil or oil that comes from a fruit or a nut to make you feel much healthier. No, they're going to buy the cheapest. And we're going to use the registration to make sure we pump you up. And when you're already being pumped up to after, then they can call you, well, look, black people got to rise. Where are we rising going? By which tune? Black people got to eat, but what are you eating? You call yourself black because you're primitive. But we got to look up the etymology of the word primitive. But that's who we are. We don't want to get out of this system because we call the system milk and honey, but at the end of the day, it is an enslaved system. Enslaving you, enslaving your children, your edification process, your eating process, your health process. At the end of the day, they control how you live or die. But I'm saying, oh no, it cannot be like that. We want our land back. And with land, we say what we want to say and how we say it. Well, we say it in peace and friendship. Peace, truth, love, friendship, and justice. That's how we say it. Because we need you to comprehend we still got to live side by side of each other. I mean, you want to come and live where I am, you got to pay royalties. I will interfere with your process. If you want to enslave your own self, that's your business. But don't enslave the people and take away their knowledge. It now becomes my business. And everybody knows only one set of people in the world that everybody spends that huge amount of time, an important time to make sure that you cannot arise thyself from thy slumber. They know these things. Believe you me, they know these things. And they will never cease from doing all these things. They know it. Believe you me, they know these things. And their intention is to make sure that you cannot and must not survive to tell the tale. And when I mean survive, to gain the knowledge. That's how you survive. You survive to gain that knowledge. These are the facts. Sad to say it, but that's the fact. Hold on. Yes. So at the end of the day, we must be able to teach ourselves. Hold on. Yes, we must be able to teach ourselves. The facts are we are the first people. That's why we are called aboriginals. Aboriginal, indigenous people. We are Moors. Moors means the heirs of the land. I am here to my father's kingdom. For it says, honor thy mother and thy father, that child day shall be long upon the earth. If you don't honor your mother and father's people, how your days gonna be long on the earth? When you're killing yourself over somebody else's thing, when your mother and father taught you how to survive, that is honoring them. But you want to live upon someone's survival tactics, as that's dishonoring your mother and your father. So your days shall not be long upon the earth. That's why they create everything for you to survive by, which you feel is the best thing to do. But they know it's not the best thing to do because they don't eat the things that they give to you. Ask the Chinese, they can tell you. Half the things that they sell in the supermarket, they know they don't eat it. If they make out of cardboard, paper, or some other material enough for you to eat. Yes, enough for you to eat. Or paper run with gluten, and they tell you that's macaroni. That's what they tell you, huh? And you like it because it tastes nice. You like the macaroni, you like the ramens, all these things taste nice because it's, and you don't know it's paper with gluten, but they're not telling you that. But you ever see them eating it? And even if they eat it, it's the imported one, it's the one that they know that they would have made by flour. You all see the drift? Yes. Yes. And here was the thing, pasta. Originally, when it's being made to eat, it has to be made the same day in order to eat the same day. It doesn't go on the shelf for 2, 3 days and 2, 3 years. That's heavy chemicalized. That's preservatives that is added to it. That's why they call it processed food. It's a lot of chemicals and it's destroying us. It's destroying us by the dozens, by the days. It's killing us out, brother, and we're not getting anything from it. I'm serious. What are we getting? Let's look at it. What are we getting from it? Nothing. Nothing we're getting from it. It's not making us healthy, it's making us more sicker. It's making us, it has us picking up more disease, especially when we go to the, the amazing thing here, these people is mess with your mind. You leave, you're not feeling well. Before you go into the back to the backyard and get some bush, so where you can boil the water and let the water draw from the bush so you can drink so you can feel well. We go to the witchcraft, which we call the doctor. When we meet there, they're going to administer medication to us that is going to make us more ill. And then they're going to tell us we're suffering from something, then they do not know what we're suffering from. And we put it up into our brains. Our brains now collects that information and feeds it to our body. So we start decaying because we're telling ourselves we have this sickness and we're going to die. And these are the facts. They are killing us out on a daily basis. We need our land back. Not we need, we want. And we're going to take our land back. We're going to take possession of our land. And this is where we take possession of our lives, because without land, they ain't got nothing, but they can't survive on the ocean. The ocean don't grow nothing. But we're taking our lands back. We're insisting and demanding that we take our lands back. And we procure and secure ourselves by our future by having the complete ownership. We are going to be in genuine control and leadership with these lands as owners. We are going to direct how it's going to be. We're not going to sit down and allow the Aboriginal genocide that is going on any longer. I'm telling you that. They're doing all sorts of things with you, enhancing your DNA. By the time you reach another 10 years from now, you start looking like a frog. All sorts of things are happening to you. You got to be careful. That's why in this system, there is nothing but spiritual and physical death. By the time you're ready to die, you're so spiritually dead that you can't even awake yourself. You cannot. You can't go in peace and I got to come back again. These are the facts. Brothers and sisters, I can't hide it from you. These are the facts. This is what is going on in our world today. This is what is going on in our country. It's what is going on everywhere that we can talk about and think about. But this is the facts. I can't help it. This is the facts. And just to top it off before I leave, there's a continued internet blackout. So when you come on these live, my brothers and sisters, share the live to your Guyanese brothers and sisters. Share the live to your US brothers and sisters. Share the live to your brothers and sisters who are living in the diaspora also too. So they can get this live feed. I know it's a problem for them now, but it's all right. Share the live. When you come on the air, you share it. Let people know. Okay. Well, to my friend who's applying to me, the medication or the chemicals added to your system prevents you from growing. That's why when you just get a newborn baby, and that baby comes into the world, it goes through what a BCG injection period, and that BCG has a percentage of chemicals along laced with uh not cyanide. Oh, brother. They got this thing we just used to get the gold out from under the mat. They call it quicksilver, but they got another name for it. It has been laced with that percentage of we call it quicksilver over here that prevents the brain from growing. And that child now grows in a domicile state. So now you're over here. That's why people from the first world countries, from the Western nation, when they come to places like the Western corporation comes to places like these third corporations, they call it third world corporations, you find that the people are not to your educational standards, so they make a mockery out of them. They make a mockery out of them. They sit down and humiliate them without even they knowing. And then they take what is not rightfully theirs from them and they go away and say, well, look, yeah, I could go over there. Because then people chupati bad, they never wake up. I can't understand they're educated, who's doctor, lawyer, magistrate, and still can't see. That's what is happening. They become ignorant to the fact. What is the fact? The facts are we are Aboriginal people. Our lands were stolen from us and we want it back. We have entered into a treaty with you. You were dishonest, and now it's time to rightfully take what is ours. I comprehend that they don't want you to take it. They will comb all hell to make sure that you take it. But that's the fact is that it belongs to us. It does. And we're taking back our lands. We're taking back our rightful possession as heirs to the land. You will have to do business with us now, commerce with us. You didn't want to do it, you want to enslave us, and suddenly we now are rising ourselves out of the bondage that you want to keep us in, instill in us. But it can't work. You can imagine all the chemicals I got at me from since I small, and I'm a rise. I've arisen to the occasion. I've arrived to the occasion, as a matter of fact, by arising in strength with gratitude to reclaim what is rightfully ours, and as a people to done away with the domicile democratic capitalist system, because it makes no sense. People are always suffering every time these politicians make decisions to suffer. This is what is happening over and over and over again. We got to arrive to the location. We got to reclaim our possession of our lands. We have to, people. It's a must. That's why the first thing I did is to proclaim my title, which is Bey, and it's added to me. So I don't have to get a piece of paper to show I'm Bey. I am Bey, Dr. Matthews-Bey. Bey means rightful claim, heirs to the land. A lot of Bey walking around the place. Some of them are born Beys, born Moors, and they don't know. Beys, Days, Els, Ali, and they don't know. But it's just that their parents have never taught them the truth, and they have never opened their eyes to see the truth. So we're blind, we're still sleeping in the corporate system. We're still holding on to the corporate system. We don't want to release from the corporate system. So, with all due, I must, before I leave, I must say, frankly saying, we want our land back. That's all we're saying. Frankly saying, by law, which is the word that cometh out of my mouth, by constitution, which I'm a living soul. That's the constitution. That they know that I'm not demanding, but I'm reclaiming what is rightfully mine. And I'm standing up for my people for what is rightfully theirs, which is Aboriginal, indigenous, living souls that are called Moors. I am noble Dr. Matthews-Bey. That is who I am. I am a noble, elodious, living soul that is called Dr. Matthews-Bey. And I have the right to declare the title and the ownership to the land in which I'm given heirs of. That makes me an American state citizen belonging to the Americas. And you who are living in a corporation are now called corporate state citizen because you're slaves to the corporation. But we need to comprehend that we can't get vexed. We need to comprehend where we are and what we can do to move ourselves out of the slave mentality condition that we're conditioned to think in, to educate in, to live in, to eat in, to sleep in. We are conditioned mentally. And we're so conditioned that we oppress each other from climbing out. of the condition that we're in. By the way, my name is Dr. Matthews-Bey. I'm happy tonight that I can come to you, sit, talk, explain exactly what is going on, and enlighten you about your position as an Aboriginal people. My name is, I am Noble, Dr. Matthews-Bey, being able to come to you on a nightly basis from the Amexium of the Americas, not only to reclaim our lands, but to reclaim also our people. I want to say thank you. Be safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask. Don't forget the little ones you take into public places. This is Dr. Bay saying good night, but Cheerios for now.